Rebuttal to the term sovereign citizen, part 4. Video, we're going to be addressing the motor vehicle department section and whether the people have the right to travel or not, and should the people be listening to the motor vehicle department and the so-called law enforcement. Book reference. Here's the main thing they would like to say. Sovereign citizens believe they are not required to have driver's licenses, license plates, or vehicle registration. They like to get into roadside arguments with police on their quote-unquote right to travel. Here's what the courts say. The right to travel, the right to motor conveyance, the right to locomotion are all absolute rights, and the police cannot make void of the exercise of rights. States versus Armstead. To combat a portion of their baseless propaganda, let's conduct a line-by-line critical analysis of the following case citation in an exercise of critical thinking and deductive reasoning. Free movement by the citizen is of course as dangerous to a tyrant as free expression of ideas or the right of assembly, and it is therefore controlled in most countries in the interest of security. That is why riding boxcars carries extreme penalties in communist lands. That is why the ticketing of people and the use of identification papers are routine matters under totalitarian regimes, yet abhorred in the United States. Aptheker versus Secretary of State. Now pay close attention to this breakdown. Line 1. Free movement by the citizen is of course as dangerous to a tyrant. From this statement, we can deduce that a tyrant doesn't necessarily like free movement by people, and he or she views it as dangerous. This free movement is the right to travel that anti-sovereigns accuse sovereign advocates of misinterpreting, having baseless arguments regarding the right to travel, or flat out wrong about all things pertaining to the right to travel. Line 2. In it, freedom of movement is therefore controlled in most countries in the interest of security. This statement shows that tyrants control the people's freedom of movement under the auspices of it being in the interest of security. In American law, this doctrine of controlling or regulating or converting private rights into state-sanctioned privileges, such as the right to travel or freedom of movement, is called police powers. Those that can give up essential liberty to gain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety, and that's a quote by Benjamin Franklin. Line 3. That is why the ticketing of people and the use of identification papers are routine matters under totalitarian regimes, yet abhorred in the United States. In this sentence, we can see that under totalitarian regimes, the ticketing of people and use of identification papers are everyday occurrences. Although it says, yet abhorred in the United States, on basic questioning, we can prove that to be false. 1. Do police routinely ticket people every day? Do police routinely ask for identification papers when they ask people for license and registration? So based on the everyday behavior of police, we can deduce that they indeed act as if we're under a tyrannical/totalitarian regime. Get this book.